Gracie, you've raced a few of these World Championships over the years. You know circuit racing well as well, based on your success of the national titles. This is a little bit of everything. What's your estimation?
Yeah, look, it's one of those courses that I think is going to be quite unpredictable, but I think the way that they've tried to lay it out with kind of phases, we've got the oceanfront phase and we've got the Kira phase and then the circuit phase. I think it's going to be a really great way to have a narrative in each race, in each category. And I think it gives everyone that moment to shine, whether you're the early support rider, the early breakaway rider, or if you're a climber. And then you've got your specialists that are here to win the race as well. And that the circuits, depending on how many times each category has to do them, I think it's going to be really hard. No matter how many times you do it, that climb is very steep. I haven't even ridden it, I've driven it and it looks steep in the car.
You're talking
So,
Mount Pleasant?
yes, I'm talking about Pleasant, and it's quite technical as well. So you can get out of sight quite easily, and that's going to play a big part into the tactics. So I think it's so hard to predict what kind of rider's going to win here, but it will certainly be a very select amount of riders at the finish of each race.
I don't know if we'll ever see another example like it, but can we expect a surprise like Anna Kiesenhofer at the Olympics, which was just a phenomenal performance, or do you think it's going to really be the usual suspects of Annemiek and Marianne, the Dutchies all combined, basically?
Yeah, look, I
Or
really...
can you nominate a favourite?
I think there was a bit of a Kiesenhofer effect this year after the Olympics. In the women's racing that was broadcast, every race almost after that there was someone trying to do that, and it kind of just created this new motivation and excitement. So I wouldn't rule that out. I think that that kind of result is a one-off, and she did an exceptional ride that day. But I think a lot of people are certainly going to try it, and this is the perfect course to try it. But we've got some amazing talent in our Australian ranks. Amanda Spratt's, it's almost her home course. She's from the Blue Mountains, which is not very far away, and she's a world-class rider. She's already medalled at World Championships a couple of times. But we also have some up-and-comers like Grace Brown. She was 4th at the Olympic Games time trial, and so that shows that she's got a huge engine. But I've raced with her as a teammate, and she's very tactically quite smart, so I think she can really excel on a technical course such as this. And then we've got up-and-comers like Sarah Gigante that can really throw a spanner in the works of the super teams such as the Dutch team. So yeah, look, I'm really excited for the Australians, but there's so much talent in the women's peloton in the world. There's a lot of countries that boast some amazing riders, and the current world champion is effectively an under 23 rider. So you've got this huge range of ages, huge range of abilities, and this course will be able to showcase so much talent in so many different ways.
And the time trial, I mean, the organisers are completely chuffed about being able to host sort of what's basically a precedent case of having the men and women on the same course on the same day over the same distance. Would that have floated your boat when you were racing, or does it, that kind of equilibrium, is that something that really motivates people, do you think?
I think having equal distances in cycling is quite a tricky subject, and I believe that doing it in a time trial is much more appropriate than in a road race. So for me personally, I never did a time trial at a world championship level, but I've done many time trials, and it's a really tough event. So to find that compromise to shorten a men's event and to lengthen a women's event is not necessarily a bad thing, because at the end of the day those gaps aren't that big, and I think challenging the women further is a really good thing. But I don't believe that we need to have an equal distance in the road race. So I think this is a really nice way to have some gender equality without making a big fanfare and big deal about it with the road races, because women's cycling is dynamic. I like that we have it around 150 kilometers, give or take. I think that still lends itself to really exciting and unpredictable racing, but also team racing as well. And maybe the men's need to be a little bit shorter at the end of the day, but they have their own traditions as well. And I think having this equal distance time trial will be a really interesting precedent, and I think it'll kind of set the scene for the next decade of cycling, both men and women cycling.
Thanks very much for just a quick overview. We're going to study this course for 9 more months, and we'll see you down here again, and we'll be on the bike next time, I imagine.
Yep, definitely on the bike.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Gracie.
All right, no worries.